Be moving on to the talks by the National President and Secretary ASI next. To chair this session, may I please invite Dr. Sarvothaman Nedungadi, former Professor of Surgery, GMC Calicut and MES Medical College, Perindalmanna; Dr. P.V. Madhavan Nambiar, former Professor of Surgery, GMC Calicut, presently working at the Rajendra Hospital, Calicut; and Dr. Santosh John Abraham, HOD, Department of General Surgery, Lutz Hospital, Cochin, to chair the session for the talks by the ASI National President and Secretary. It's my privilege now to hand over the session to our esteemed chairpersons. Over to you, sir, Dr. Sarvothaman and Dr. Madhavan and Dr. Santosh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's our privilege to have two stalwarts of ASI, national level, addressing us this afternoon on their specialities, the President and the Secretary. And another stalwart is sitting next to me, Santosh John Abraham, who has put the Kerala chapter onto a strong Kerala chapter of ASI. No, national level, but I'm stressing the Kerala factor here, because Kerala factor has been aroused after he actively started propagating the ethos of surgery and study of surgery. So this is a fantastic session. We are privileged to chair, and may I invite the first speaker onto the dais. Over to Santosh.
I have immense pleasure in welcoming Dr. Pratap Singh Verate, our Secretary, Honorary Secretary of the ASI Center. He hails from Kolhapur. He is an Associate Professor of Surgery at D.Y. Patil Medical College at Kolhapur. Over to Verate, please.
Thank you very much, sir. At the outset, it's my honor and privilege to be amidst you today for this wonderful CASICON at Calicut. I'm thankful to the entire organizing team led by organizing chairman, the chairman of the Kerala State Chapter, Dr. Sri Jain, Secretary Dr. Madhu Murli, Treasurer Dr. Zulfikar, and organizing chairman of the event, Dr. Alex Omen, organizing secretary Dr. Arun S., and the entire organizing team for all your love, care, and hospitality, what you extended from last evening. Respected chairpersons, respected Dr. Santosh John Abraham, sir, past president ASI, advisor to ASI EC, Dr. Sarvothaman, and Dr. P.V. Madhavan. Thank you very much, sir. The topic given to me today is interesting case scenarios of the colonic diverticulitis. This colonic diverticulitis is often forms a dilemma as far as the treatment modalities are concerned in the young surgeons as well as experienced one, what to do, when to start with antibiotics, whether to go in now, whether to go for it with a laparoscopic approach, open approach, whether to drain the abscess, whether to be with the stoma, heart-one procedure, do a resection anastomosis, and whatnot. There are multiple things involved in this. So I think next 10 minutes we will try to resolve all these confusions in this particular disease. So the diverticular disease, as you know, it is the most common in the elderly individuals, and 10% of the population is younger to 40 years. There is an increasing incidence of diverticulosis and diverticulitis in the younger population because of the dietary changes. The right-sided diverticulitis is commonly found in the Asian population, and the causes, as you know, the low fiber intake, disorders of colonic motility, structural abnormalities in the colon and genetic factors, obesity, chronic alcoholism, and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. The lifetime risk of developing acute left-sided diverticulitis is about 5% by the age of 40 and 80% by the age of 80. Of this, 10 to 20% require hospitalization. Of this, 20 to 50% require surgery. The sigmoid colon is usually the most commonly involved part in the whole of the large bowel. while acute right-sided diverticulitis is rarer but much common in the Asian population. Fever on admission predicts increased risk while in the predicting the outcome of the diverticulitis. As far as classification goes, can be classified as uncomplicated and complicated. In complicated, you can have abscess, fistula, obstruction, or free perforation. Abdominal CT scan and with the oral and intravenous contrast is the diagnostic modality of choice with the highest sensitivity and specificity. It also helps in assessing severity of inflammation and therefore categorizes the diverticulitis into complicated or uncomplicated. There is a role of colonoscopy during the follow-up of the patient after the acute attack of diverticulitis. So as far as grading system of the diverticulitis is concerned, as you know, Hinchey classification is the age-old classification. There is it is divided into 1A, 1B, 2, 3, and 4. As it is, 1A is mild clinical diverticulitis, 1B is confined to the pericolic inflammation or a phlegmon, 2 is pericolic or mesocolic abscess, and third is purulent peritonitis, and fourth is feculent peritonitis. The World Society of Emergency Surgery scoring system has also graded the diverticulitis into stage 1A, that is pericolic air bubbles or little pericolic fluid. 1B is abscess less than 4 centimeter. Stage 2A is abscess more than 4 centimeter. Stage 2B is distant air and more than 5 centimeter of the inflamed bowel segment is there. Stage 3 is diffuse fluid without distant free glass, and stage 4 is diffuse fluid with distant free air in the abdomen. Management algorithm for patients older than 65 years with a suspected acute diverticulitis is in stage 0. We can go ahead with a conservative treatment with or without antibiotic therapy. Stage 1A and 1B, that is in pericolic air bubbles or only fat strandings are there, or the abscess is less than 4 centimeter. You can go with a broad spectrum antibiotic treatment. In stage 2A, broad spectrum antibiotics with percutaneous drainage can be performed, but from stage 2B, that is from distant air and the purulent peritonitis and the feculent peritonitis, you have to go with the source control surgery. Either you have to go with a sigmoid resection with primary anastomosis, Hartmann's procedure, or damage control surgery. So as far as case scenarios goes, this is a case 1. We will discuss 5 cases in this which are frequently the clinician comes across. 62-year-old gentleman, elderly gentleman coming with a left-sided abdominal pain and constipation with hematochezia, but there are no other symptoms, no family history, no history of loss of appetite or weight, are not on any medications. Clinical examination is nothing significant and the lab evaluation was normal except leukocytosis. Investigation shows mild leukocytosis, that is 12,500 count, serum creatinine normal, stool occult blood positive, CRP protein is normal. So it is a simple bedside evaluation, is ultrasound abdomen of the pelvis, which shows a fecolith with an inflamed colon and with a diverticulum. CT abdomen shows focal wall thickening of the sigmoid with a pericolic fat stranding, and there is no collection. So the patients with uncomplicated diverticulitis like this, who are clinically stable, can tolerate fluids and they can receive outpatient treatment also with oral antibiotics. The published guidelines of the American Society of Colon and Rectal Surgeons recommend that antibiotics as a treatment for the uncomplicated diverticulitis, and it is the current standard care in the United States. So this patient can be managed with the hospitalization, bowel rest, intravenous fluid and electrolyte therapy. Antibiotics should cover gram-negative and anaerobes and should be given for at least 10 to 14 days. An improvement in leukocytosis should be observed for 2 to 4 days after hospitalization. So this is Hinchey 1A. So the patient with uncomplicated diverticulitis and who are clinically stable can be managed with this kind of treatment. The role of colonoscopy is always there after the acute attack of diverticulitis to rule out the underlying malignancy and to know the extent of the disease. What factors should be considered in planning elective resection in cases of acute diverticulitis? treated non-operatively. It was a dictum that after 2 or 3 episodes of recurrent attack, elective colectomy should be indicated. But currently, the decision to perform an elective resection after 1 or more episodes of acute diverticulitis should be undertaken on case-to-case basis, taking into account the risk factors, complications, age, and comorbidities of the patient. It is standard practice to wait for 6 to 8 weeks after an acute attack of diverticulitis to perform an elective colectomy when the inflammation of the colon is subsided and there will be lower rate of anastomotic leak, wound infection, and conversion to open surgery. This is the case scenario number 2. This lady, who is a known diabetic, came with a pain in abdomen, vomiting, fever, diarrhea since last 5 days. Earlier, she used to get episodic attacks of pain in abdomen with constipation. Pulse rate is 100 and blood pressure is within normal limits. There is a tender vague mass felt in the left iliac fossa, and there is a tenderness at pouch of Douglas. Other systemic examination are normal. Blood investigation show high leukocyte count with increased CRP, that is 100 microgram, and serum creatinine levels are 1.8 microgram. There is on ultrasound, there is an inflamed diverticulum with an abscess. CT scan shows paracolic abscess around 6 centimeter, secondary to the complicated diverticulitis. So it is Hinchey grade 1B or grade 2. So what is the management? We should go with the damage control treatment, should start with IV antibiotics, IV fluids, and USG guided percutaneous aspiration, which should be advocated as the abscess size is more than 4 centimeter. This is easy, it can be done under local anesthesia, it is cost effective with the collaboration between the surgeon and the radiologist. EOS guided endoluminal drainage can be tried if the facilities are available. And if all these factors fail, surgical treatment either by laparoscopic drainage and putting a drain and you can come out. So the World Society of Emergency Surgery guidelines recommend that antibiotics alone for the abscess with the diameter less than 4 centimeter, and there is a correlation between the abscess cavity and the antibiotic uses. As the abscess cavity is smaller, like 2 centimeter or 2 to 4 centimeter, above 5 centimeter, as the abscess cavity increases in size, there is a role for surgery and the antibiotic failure. As the size of the abscess increases, there is a failure of medical treatment and pigtail drainage procedures and needs either a laparoscopic or open surgical intervention. Case 3 is this gentleman who is a known diabetic, hypertensive, with history of pain in abdomen, known case of left-sided colonic diverticulitis, treated earlier in the hospital by medications. He was advised colonoscopy, but he has refused. This is a known case of diverticulitis, and it is a clinically toxic patient with tachycardia, tachypnea, with abdominal signs of peritonitis. X-ray shows gas under diaphragm. This is acute complicated diverticulitis, secondary to perforated sigmoid diverticulum. This is Hinchey stage 3. This patient straightaway walks into OR. So what is your surgical plan? It is an emergency condition, needs admission. There is a role of fluid correction and antibiotics and emergency intervention. What options are available? If there can be multiple options. You can go with a laparoscopic or open surgery. You can give a peritoneal wash. You can go with a Hartmann's procedure, looking at the patient's condition. There can be loop sigmoid stoma or resection anastomosis with a proximal ileostomy can be tried. Relatively young, fit patients with no organ failure and early presentation who are stable with no bowel edema, sigmoid resection and anastomosis with covering loop ileostomy or transverse loop stoma can be tried. If vital stable with single organ failure, bit delayed presentation with bowel edema, no anastomosis, resect the disease and do a Hartmann's procedure. Patients hemodynamically unstable, no inotropes, multi-organ failure, and laparotomy, you do directly go with the damage control surgery, laparotomy, lavage, drainage, and stoma. Remember, every patient is different. Lap or open, it depends on the individual concern, but you have to salvage the patient. There is always a chance to operate on second time on a live patient. Remember, this line is very important. So this is case 4. 73-year-old male, known diabetic hypertensive with history of pain in abdomen. He has history of nematuria, fecal urea, burning and frequency of micturition, past history of constipation, abdominal discomfort. His tachycardia is there. The C-reactive protein is high. The total count is 23,000. And urine microscopy showing fecal contamination and culture revealed Klebsiella. You can see the rectal contrast going into the bladder and the air foci in the urinary bladder. So there is a fistulous correction between the bladder and the rectum. So you have to go with this patient with a colonoscopy prior to intervention and cystoscopy. Colonoscopy to know about the site of the fistulous opening and to rule out colonic cancer, and the cystoscopy to finding out the fistulous opening and do the bilateral ureteric stenting as you are going ahead with the resection procedures. Definitive treatment like elective sigmoid resection should be tried in elderly patients who are fit for surgery. You can do it by open, lap, single stage or double stage. Colonic fistula is a rare complication of chronic fistula diverticulitis with a reported incidence of 6% to 16% of surgically treated patients. And the last case for today is, this is 72 years male with a history of pain in abdomen, vomiting, fever, diarrhea. He says that he has a bleeding in stools since last 2 days. He is known case of left-sided colonic diverticulitis treated earlier. He has advised colonoscopy, but he had refused. So the CT, what is the possibility of, there is a possibility of bleeding through the diverticulum. CT angio is the most sensitive and specific investigation than the conventional cath lab angio to pick up the bleeding location. If unstable patient, take the patient directly to OR with adequate blood arrangement. If relatively stable patient, we can try with angio embolization and or endoscopic hemoclip application. So selective sigmoid branch embolization or inferior mesenteric artery embolization can be advocated. So to conclude, acute colonic diverticulitis is a common and costly GI disease in Western population. Uncomplicated and left-sided diverticulitis is more common. CT abdomen is the investigation of choice, both in diagnosis and assessing the severity. Modified Hinchey classification is the accepted one for grading. Uncomplicated diverticulitis can be managed with or without hospitalization and antibiotics. Follow-up colonoscopy 6 to 8 weeks after the acute episode should be planned to rule out colonic cancer. Grade 2 acute diverticulitis can be managed with the percutaneous drainage and antibiotics. Elective colonic resection should be planned on case-to-case basis, and options for surgical procedures would be primary resection and anastomosis with proximal ileostomy, Hartmann's procedure, and exteriorization of the colon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Pratap, for the nice presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
For the next, please take your seat.
There is
no
for,
disc.
for want of time, we are not going to have any questions on